welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing good, and we're going to be looking at what's going on in the tropics. So as we can see from this graphic from the National Hurricane Center, there are 4 areas of potential development over the course of the coming days, but one of the things to note is they're all highlighted in yellow. Yellow indicates a low chance of development. So we've got that Gulf disturbance loitering off the Texas coast, and there have been models suggesting that we could see some development with that system as it slowly moves around. And then there's that airflow pressure well offshore North Carolina that may try to get itself together over the coming day, but it is going to accelerate into cooler waters, so time is sort of limited for this system here. We see that next general area highlighted where we could see some an airflow pressure form over the coming days, and eventually we may see some development of it. And in the Northwest Caribbean, just offshore Belize, is that disturbance, the same tropical wave that we've been talking about. At one point it had a 50% chance of development, but it failed to develop in the Caribbean. So once it heads to the Bay of Campeche, we may see something try to become of it. However, that chance is low. So as we can see, it's down to 20% right now. But regardless, it is going to be a problem in terms of rainfall for Central America. So there's likely to be some additional periods of heavy rain, which may trigger flooding in some areas. So we'll be looking at all of that in today's update. So as we switch to the satellite imagery, here we can see this area flow pressure well offshore North Carolina, not too far from Bermuda. So it may try to get itself together. It was associated with a frontal system. So once it gets some tropical characteristics associated, then we may actually see it try to become something, even a brief named storm out there. We'll see how that goes over the next day. And in the Gulf, we can see all these scattered showers and thunderstorms around, lots of action over towards Central America. And then a tropical wave is heading into the Caribbean. At one point it was marked for development, however it no longer is, but there is some shower and thunderstorm activity moving into the Lesser Antilles and other parts of the northeastern Caribbean. So let's take a closer look. We can see some spinach right here. So if we look very closely, we can see some counterclockwise rotation. So there is an area of low pressure within the region. So it is helping to induce some showers and thunderstorms around parts of the Lesser Antilles. And as we head to the vicinity of Central America, as I said, very active there. Belize, parts of Mexico, Honduras, the Bay Islands, the Keys, even for some spots in Nicaragua as well, going to Guatemala, El Salvador, there is some action around this morning, and even near the Cayman Islands, although some of that is kind of moving away. But overall for the Caribbean, there's not a major system in the area aside from that tropical wave bringing that significant rainfall threat. To Central America, there isn't really anything else. So as we look at the rainfall forecast for today, here we can see Central America with all of these reddish, burgundy, purple shadings as well in a few spots. Rainfall amounts probably exceeding 2.5 up to 3 inches in total as we head throughout today. So Mexico, Belize, the Keys, Bay Islands of Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, parts of Honduras and Nicaragua, and even down to Costa Rica, Panama may experience some showers as well. Similar thing possible for the islands of San Andres and Providencia. So with the tropical wave moving by, it is going to be enhancing lots of showers and thunderstorms, and that could trigger flooding, especially in areas that are very saturated or those very vulnerable flood-prone areas. There's likely to be flooding with those periods of heavy rain that will likely be unleashed throughout the day. Then as we look elsewhere, going up to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Hispaniola, even towards Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, there's likely to be some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. So some areas may experience a brief heavy downpour, especially as we head into the afternoon with all that daytime heating, but there may not be a whole lot of rain across a widespread area. Then as we head to the Lesser Antilles, you can see all that color offshore. So the heaviest rain associated with the airflow pressure will likely stay offshore, but there could be some decent downpours across much of the Lesser Antilles and Anguilla down to around St. Lucia thereabout, including Barbados. But for St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, it may be on the drier side today. Same thing for Tobago. A few spots in Trinidad may experience some showers. And then for the ABC Islands, much not anticipated. A passing shower if you guys are lucky. Then as we head down to Colombia, Venezuela, and Guyana, there could be some showers around as well. Things may be a bit on the drier side for Suriname. And then we are switching to the vicinity of the Gulf, especially where we have that area marked, that disturbance. So we can definitely see here here that for the Gulf Coast states of the U.S., well, for most of the states, it is likely to be a pretty wet day. So for much of Florida, as well as parts of Alabama, Mississippi, go into Louisiana, we're seeing those very vibrant shadings, rainfall amounts probably up to 8 inches or so. So definitely some flooding rains along the Gulf Coast, and even for much of Mexico, as we can see with those colorful shadings around. So the area is going to be active today, guys, and that's what is expected in terms of rainfall activity. Then as it relates to the winds, it's likely to be a pretty windy day in parts of the Caribbean. So where we see those purple and even those spots of blues, that is where some of the strongest winds are likely to be found today. So going into parts of the Yucatan, is going to be pretty windy with those wind gusts, probably well over 35 miles per hour. And then for other areas such as the Cayman Islands, a few spots in Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and down to the ABC Islands, is likely to be pretty windy as well. But for most of the Lesser Antilles, it may not be as windy, with maybe gusts up to 8 or even 10 miles per hour or so. And yeah, generally there isn't anything too major going on right now in the Caribbean region. And of course, as I had mentioned, we have those couple disturbances marked. And if the conditions ahead of any of these systems look as though they may definitely favor development, then we will see an increase in the formation chance. But I'm here to keep you guys updated as per usual. So that is what I wanted to share with you in this video today. And I do hope you found it to be informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I have the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.